I'm Not Afraid of the Sounds in the Night by Lucius Scary. As I've gotten older, I must have grown to absolutely love reading scary stories at night before I fall asleep. They probably make me think of the dark forest concept. Alone in a dark forest, if you light a fire to call for help, you may invite predators to your location instead. Is it better to stumble in the dark where no one can see you? I must love this concept. Every bad outcome in a horror story is the result of a person making a bad decision. It was cause and effect. It was avoidable. If I prepare enough, I can stay completely safe. And I live in my own dark forest. A perfectly normal residential house, indistinguishable from the 200 others all around me. There's no possible reason for my house to stand out. My killer would have to be walking by my house and choose it at random. Maybe he thought the number 777 was so perfectly lucky. And what are the odds of that happening? So I lay in bed. I read. Because I'm not afraid. I sit in my bed with a screen glued to my face, and I read stories late into the night. My killer could float at the window, their grin slowly broadening into a smile as they wait. Who would believe that they would sit there for almost a half an hour, their pale face cracked into a skewed, uncomfortable grin? It would give me every chance to look up and see them, while they check to see if I'm distracted. But apparently, I'm no coward. I don't give in to my base fear and glance up at the window, even when alarms ring in my head, screaming at me to just take one glance. No, when I finally do look up, it's a pitch black window, and a chastising thought of my own foolishness. I don't believe in the pale, grinning face watching me through the window, and I am not afraid. Besides, my house is safe. I'm not stupid, fear not. The security system is monitoring all of the windows for anyone breaking the glass to give me a warning long before they could get close to me. I can't even begin to imagine the incredible patience of the person who would carve away the plastic edges of my window frame with a knife, slowly, chipping and peeling it away until they could pull the window open without unlatching it, never setting off the alarm. The small creaks that it would make would sound nothing more than a tree rubbing up against our old vinyl siding. And, well, that's a sound I can completely ignore. It's just a few normal creaks in the night. I am not afraid. Also, I sleep with two big dogs. They bark when a squirrel so much as farts outside. So why would I ever need to worry? I would have a loud barking warning of anyone entering my house. I have absolutely no respect for the genius it would take to slide a tube into our house with dog treats on the end. A tube that would carefully blow poison into their face. The face of any poor dog that likes to lick peanut butter at its tip. That would take so much patience that I can't even begin to imagine it. I might even hear the sound of my dogs grumbling slightly, or slouching down onto the floor. But those are everyday sounds, and I don't need to get up to investigate that. My dogs will warn me first, so I'm not afraid. All of this is backed up by the comfort of my old home. I must know every creak and groan that it gives, and someone with incredible patience and fortitude would have to spend 47 minutes and 13 seconds wriggling on their belly through the downstairs rooms and up the stairs just in order to avoid setting off any of the great creaks and awkward steps. So I can lay comfortably and confidently in my bed, my husband asleep and snoring beside me, while I listen to the odd creak and moan from the downstairs joists. Even the slight groaning of the stairs might trigger a paralyzing and deep alarm in my stomach. I listen to it creep towards me, but it's so slow and takes so long that I realize it must be the house. I'm not afraid of worn-out joists groaning. I'm too old for that. Besides, the dogs haven't barked, the alarms haven't chimed. I am not afraid. Even still, maybe I glance out the bedroom door. The bathroom light is on after all, and anyone who would sneak into the bedroom would have to walk past it first, leaving an unmistakable silhouette. If someone was so unbelievably intelligent, that they would crouch down and shuffle past the light, leaving a silhouette roughly the same size as one of my big old dogs? Why, I'm far too smart to even question that. I want to believe so badly that it's just my big dog. My big old dog slouching around upstairs. I've embroiled myself even deeper into what I'm reading. Because, as long as I keep reading, I can prevent the paralyzing fear from sinking me even deeper into my bed. Like I said, I haven't made any mistakes, and in the stories, it's only when the stupid hero gets up and walks around the house with a flashlight that they see what they shouldn't have seen. And besides, I'm not afraid. Am I? After all, what's there to be afraid of? The sort of brilliant and innovative man who could do all of these things? Well, he couldn't weigh more than 90 pounds. He would be skeletally thin, and he could move so lightly and carefully through any house he chooses. And of course, that means if anyone simply stood up and walked around their house and found him, they could easily drive him away. Although he is a fantastic hider. I wouldn't even hear him in my own bedroom as he moved closer to me, painstakingly, 1 inch at a time for a minute after painful minute. He wouldn't make a sound, fabric on fabric, rustling, breathing, anything. Then again, maybe I do hear it. So low, so soft, so close, that I won't let myself believe it. Maybe I've been reading my stories for so long that I think my own brain has deceived me. How stupid would I have to have someone so achingly close to me and not even look over and see them? I suppose they could hide under the bed while they moved, but I don't believe in monsters under the bed anymore. So, I'm not afraid. And I breathe. Shallowly. So shallowly and so quickly. Alright, maybe I am a little afraid. The scary stories I'm reading are so engrossing after all. The screen hovers inches from my face, glowing bright and completely ruining my night vision. It distorts everything. At points, I probably swear I can see a face in the corner of my vision. Grinning. Grinning at me. Such a patient face. I don't know, maybe I believe in matrixing. The human mind's desperate desire to turn every shape into a human face. This is comforting after all. It's easier to believe that my brain is fooling me. Then that face beckons to me, begging me to take one last chance to see it and to protect myself. Because, after all, at this point it would certainly be playing with me. If I moved over to look, it would have to be so lightning quick that it would be out of there before my brain adjusted to where it was, or turned on the light to see it. But, clearly, my brain is the traitor, drunk on an intoxicating mix of frightening stories and not enough sleep. I am not afraid at all. When I finally feel a tiny pinprick in my neck and start to fall asleep, I am still not afraid. I'm sure I write it off as nerves or one of 100 other things. I am so unafraid that I left my Reddit page logged in, sitting on no sleep where anyone could take over and write a story under my name. Everything fades to black, and I don't feel any problem with that. That is, until the last thing I see is a hideously warped, grinning face looking right back at me as my eyes close. Its eyes are sunken in. Its shape is skeletal and thin, but its grotesque and twisted grin of sheer excitement is unmistakable. I won't be awake long enough to be afraid, though. That will come tomorrow. My husband and I will both wake up tied to chairs, maybe paralyzed with fear, maybe animated with rage. It's undeniably one of the most arousing and anticipated parts of the whole dance. What will I do when I first find out that the scary stories don't need monsters? Fear can come just as surely from a potato peeler, slowly carving across the skin of the thigh. Fear can be a red-hot soldering iron, pushed through the tips of the finger. Fear can be not having eyelids, and being forced to watch it all. Maybe that's the best part of it. The delusion. The realization that ghosts and otherworldly demons and paranormal faces, that they don't have nearly as much power as a perfectly brilliant little skinny man who is willing to take 3 hours and 53 minutes just to get within a syringe's distance from me. Who could resist taking a little time to brag after that much patience? But these stories are wonderful, so perfectly useful and so captivating. They create the perfect false narrative, one where the world makes sense. With enough preparation and sensible decisions, your safety is always guaranteed, and home is always safe. Again and again, these people curl in their beds to secure their own safety. They sleep in apartments high up, and they convince themselves that no one would ever pose as a maintenance man, jimmy the lock into their apartment and hide in their closet. No one would wait 11 hours for the perfect opportunity to slowly inch toward them in bed, while ignoring all of the screaming warnings in their heads. They're not afraid. They sleep in their parents' houses, completely convinced that no one has the patience to break into their attic through a roof vent, and lay in the attic completely still all day and listen to them eat their dinner and go to bed, and then slowly remove the vent in their bathroom and climb down. After all, it's just a few small clanging noises in the night. They're not afraid. Not in their shotgun houses. No astute virtuoso has shimmed his thin body through the one window they forgot to close, and sealed up the screen after, to leave no sign, spending the day barely breathing underneath their bed. Who would check under the bed when they're not afraid? Because after all, the stories are so perfect. Somewhere along the way the hero made a mistake. It's a behind the door moment. And they are so dumb, and the reader is so smart. All they need to do is not look behind the door, not look up from a book, and they will continue living their life without causing a chain of events. There's always a reason for the monster to exist. Always some mistake that can be walked away from. Isn't that, after all, the fear everyone desires? One that is within your control? How much more paralyzing is it to live in a world where there is no way you could ever avoid them? And all because your house number looked a little funny, and you were closer to the bus stop. How much more horrifying would it be to live in a world where the smart and handsome monster acted without reason, and struck completely at random? If only I had known that there were such people in the world, I would have been afraid. Well, guys, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And this is the last one before we head right into the Christmas season, implying that your Christmas season has not already started for some reason. I want to thank all of the lovely patrons who are currently listed on screen right now. Dan R., Neophyte Games, Chaos X, Mr. Swiston, Official Jerboa, JY, Pyromancer, Hayden MH, Ethan A., Daniel H., Maximilian Charles P., Deneen H., and Go Cute Puppy LLC. God, I love that name. Guys, thank you so much.